Hello, and welcome back to Ame's Bookshelf. I am Teresa Garcia, or Amehana Arashi, depending on where you know me from. Today, on the bookshelf, I have short reviews for two different books. The first one is Irish Imbas Celtic Mythology Collection. This one is the first of a series. They're doing it, I think it is yearly, where Imbas is collecting stories that are written for Celtic themes, being the most faithful as possible to these themes and the folklore. So the authors are therefore various, and this particular collection I am going to give a 5-star rating, both for enjoyability and how well everything was handled. The age rating I will leave it at is general. Everybody can read it. You can read it to your small children. You can read it to grandma. It doesn't matter. Everybody will enjoy this, and I don't think anybody is going to get offended by it. The publisher is Irish Imbas Books. So do look for them. They also do other things besides this yearly collection. And I was very taken with this particular set of stories, especially the one that had a different viewpoint for the selkie stories. Because there is one general type of selkie story that you see, and you don't get to see any other versions of that very often. So I do recommend picking up this book so that you can see how this selkie saves the life and how he doesn't lose his skin. Now, while I was looking for the link to this book, I noticed that the next collection is already out as well, so I picked that up and I have that on my reading block. That's not what I'm reading currently, but it is on my to-read list. And I intend to be reading it either for Trotsdale or Luskwood, or perhaps Astral Sector Alpha. But, it depends on how things go right now. So, again, look for Irish Imbas Celtic Mythology Collection. The first collection is very good, and I greatly enjoyed that. Now, the second book that I am going to be talking about today is Vikings in Dublin by Layla McGrath. And this is one that I stumbled across on Facebook through a Facebook ad. And I decided to get it because I have become addicted to the Circle of Caradwyn book series by Octavia Randolph. So I expected this to be rather like that one. Again, this is Vikings in Dublin by Layla McGrath. This one also got a 5-star out of me because of how well everything was handled. There are some scenes that are not appropriate for younger readers, so this one is PG-13, in that range. The story is told from the point of view of a princess, who reminds me in some ways of Merida from Brave. And this is not a lifting from other sources, although it is a historical adventure. We follow our heroine as she loses her mother, has a crisis of faith, and is only gradually returned to her faith in God by the crisis of her love interest. In this book, Ireland is in danger, and it is only her father, and by extension her father's new bride and herself, that can unite and save Ireland. The first problem is taking care of the weak kings and division in the land before the incoming scourge can be driven out. Therefore, her father has to become High King, so that there is some unification for this incoming bunch of raiders that we know as the Danes and the Vikings. Now, The book had me on the edge of my seat and turning page after page. I was very impressed by how well the author kept me immersed in the story and how true to the time the story was. This is a must-read. Now, I'm going to be touching on the rating again. It is the low end of PG-13, but only because of some of the death scenes. It's no worse than many of the shows and programs in every home and TV today. But this would be good to read as a family, and I would really like to see this one become a movie someday. I think that it would really do well if somebody were to pick it up and make a movie out of it. So again, that was Vikings in Dublin. Now, if you go down to the description of the video here on YouTube, you will find the links on where to get these two books. So, I encourage getting the books, possibly following the authors to find what else that comes from their pens. And I will see you in another video as I catch up on my backlog of things that I have reviewed and written, but not have gotten to do the video review of yet. And I have some meditations I need to finish getting ready to go. I have another poetry video that I need to do. My Patreon is coming up on the end of its second year running, so soon I will be compiling all the poems and short stories and artworks that were done for my Patreon and preparing volume 2 of Mythical Minstrelsy and getting that ready to go. I hope to be releasing the print editions of volumes 1 and 2 together, in separate books but together. I expect the ebook edition of the second volume to be ready to go before I have the print editions pushed through. I want to make sure that it's typo free, that everything is set up correctly. There is quite a lot that goes into publishing any book, so I want to make sure that everything is as perfect as possible. So that is everything for this video, and I think in another video I will talk a bit about my experience running a booth with my daughter for the McLeod Lumberjack Fiesta that just happened this past weekend. I met a lot of good people, so I will do a small vlog about that now that I have time.